Hi everyone, this is Isaac from Bible Bits, and today I wanted to share with you guys some reflections on Philippians chapter 1 verses 18 to 26. These are some of the most encouraging verses in the entire Bible, full of convicting reminders for us, and so I hope that you guys will be encouraged by them today. To give you guys a bit of context, if you haven't already read Philippians, Paul is writing this book out of captivity. He is writing to the Christians in Philippi, and despite his dire circumstances, he rejoices at their continued partnership with him and the continued proclamation of the gospel despite his predicament. And so it's in this context that we turn to verse 18, and I'll give you guys a bit of time now to read over it, so pause the video for as long as you need. Immediately, the thing that stands out to me is Paul's confidence that he will experience a deliverance, as we see in verse 19. Now, we aren't exactly told what Paul is expecting a deliverance from, whether that's from his immediate circumstances, or indeed a more permanent deliverance from life itself into eternal life with God. But given that Paul's concern in verse 20 is honouring Christ, whether by life or by death, I suspect that he means both, and that he expects a deliverance for his temporary immediate circumstances now because of what he says in verses 25 to 26. But that this temporary deliverance will only be a shadow of the true deliverance he will experience when he dies and meets God face to face. The fact that Paul eventually succumbs to persecution and dies for the sake of the gospel confirms that the more important deliverance is the latter. And it is with this confidence that he is able to declare those famous words, "For me, to live is Christ and to die is gain." What wonderful, beautiful words they are. Notice how personal they are. For me, not for you, not for anybody else, but for me, to live is Christ and to die is gain. It is so amazing how captured by Christ Paul is, and we are given full access into the way that he thinks. If he lives through the next persecution, then God be praised. This is good. It means more fruitful labor for him, supporting his brothers and sisters. But should he not be delivered from physical death, then it would still be to his ultimate deliverance and gain, because then he will be able to depart and be with Christ. I get really moved whenever I read this passage, and I find that Paul's joyful words produce a most harsh rebuke. When was the last time that you or I had such a zeal about the things of God, or such an attitude toward the decisions that we make in life? To consider the sum of life itself is only for the faithful honouring of Christ, and to see death as total gain. It's a countercultural, radical way of life that challenges the worldly priorities we often have. And it could only be had by someone who saw the surpassing value of knowing Christ, and who had complete confidence that being with him was far better than anything this life has to offer. So what does this actually mean for us? Well, some of us might be tempted to think that Paul's attitude only applies to the spiritual elite, that it's reserved for a group of Christian all-stars. However, the reality is Christ's call to self-denial applies to all who follow him. And so we should all make it our aim to live out those words in verse 21. Now, I'll be the first one to admit, it's not always easy to do that. But as Christians, we should make it our goal and objective to say those words with more and more conviction with each passing day. We cannot take with us the things of the world when we die. Our job, our money, our status, all these things will fade away. But if we see Christ as our supreme and surpassing treasure, then we too can say with full assurance that death is nothing short of total gain for us. And so I hope that you've been encouraged today by Paul's example, because I sure have. And I pray that you and I would be able to continue to strive to live out those words in verse 21 with more and more conviction each day. That for us, to live is Christ and to die is gain. Well, that's all we've got time for today, but I'll see you next time, and I hope to hear from you soon.